Charnowski, both 6-7 counts, wins it, gets it in the front court to Boer. Goes to the basket immediately and misses the driving layup. Rebound, Kesty almost had it knocked away, but Greg did a good job to keep that ball away from Boer, and the Huskies have it back the other way. So South Dakota State misses its first basket attempt. Here comes Danny Ward down the lane. Feeds underneath. Kesty couldn't control it. Charnowski tried to save it. It comes loose, and Boer has the ball for South Dakota State. 3-on-2 break now for the Rabbits. They're into the front court. Boer slows it up. Passes off at the free throw line now to Counts. Chris Counts, the power forward. He kicks it back out to Troy Bauman, and South Dakota State goes into the half-court offense. Man for man for the Huskies. Pass down low. Here's Leiferman. Dribbles through the lane. Dumps it off. Counts. Muscles his way in the lane. Shot is blocked by Charnowski, and the loose ball recovered by Kesty. First rejection of the night for Haug Charnowski. He's too short of becoming the Huskies' leader in career blocks. Now traveling called on St. Cloud State as Dean Kessler coming back the other way. Tried to pull up on transition, but was called for the turnover. So we're still scoreless 50 seconds into this ball game. And South Dakota State's into the front court. The Jackrabbits with Chris White. He's got it on the right wing, the high-scoring off guard. Dumps it off, top of the circle to Counts. Chris Counts underneath. White is open. Banks it up and in with the left hand. 2-0 South Dakota State. Nifty pass by the 6'8" senior Chris Counts. Full court pressure by the Jacks, but the Huskies break it as Rod rushes to the head. Bounce pass down low, but Haug is able to run it down on the right baseline. Near turnover there. Pass back out top to Ward. The Jackrabbits also in the man-for-man. Ward guarded by Bauman. Gets it off for Kessler. Right wing whistle and a foul is called as Kessler, checked by White, had the ball slapped out of his hands, and it looks like Bauman will be called for the foul as Bauman was on the help side defense, and he's called for the game's first foul. Troy Bauman, whose younger brother Todd is also in the program, was a senior last year at Russell Tyler Ripton. He's got a stress fracture, though, and is being redshirted this year. He's a good young prospect. Pass in, knocked away from Charnowski. The Jackrabbits get it back, and then a foul called as Counts was fouled by Ward, who reached around from the backside and picks up the Huskies' first foul. Dan Ward, so both teams' point guards have the game's initial fouls. And South Dakota State comes into the front court now with Troy Bauman, who runs the offense. Dishes off on the right wing to White. Top of the circle, here's Counts, knocked away by Charnowski. Steal by Haug. He's in the top 10 in the league in that category. Springer has it, and even banks it in. Charnowski got it off to Ward, who lobbed it from half court to Springer, and the Huskies are on the board. We're tied at 2. Pass down low for the Jacks now. Underneath, Leiferman misses the running jumper, gets it back from Kesty and banks it in. Pete Leiferman putting Sdsu up 4-2. Good offensive determination there for Leiferman, and now the Huskies lose it. Ward's pass knocked away by Leiferman. Ahead to Bauman. To White, to Bauman on the break. Banks it up and in. Looked like Bauman got away with the walk. 4 straight by South Dakota State. It's 6-2 Jackrabbits. Two-man backcourt trap, but the Huskies break it on the pass ahead to Kesty. He pulls up, shoots, and hits. Kesty, who was in full-court dribble there, got the pass from Ward, just kept going. The Jackrabbits gave him that 15-footer, and that can be deadly for an opponent. Kesty, a good outside shooter. Jacks lead it by 2. Sdsu in the front court with Boer on the wing. To the high post, Leiferman. Now on the right wing side, Bauman has it. Rifles it to the baseline. Boer guarded closely by Kessler. White right now being guarded by Springer. That's the Huskies' big defensive matchup. Bauman has it. Cross-court pass underneath. Knocked away out of bounds by Springer. And South Dakota State will keep it. Good help defense there by Scott as his man, again, Chris White, was way out on the left wing. But as they tried the entry pass, Springer came off his man to knock it away. Pass in now, Counts. Sets up 10-footer off the back rim. No good. Rebound, whistle, foul on Counts. As he came over the shoulder of Charnowski, and Counts picks up the second foul for South Dakota State. His first.
Second team foul.
Last year, the Jackrabbits 24-9 overall, 11-7 in the NCC. That was good for second place. A distant second behind the 17-1 North Dakota Fighting Sioux. That's Kesty now in the front court. On the dribble, breaking full court pressure. Huskies down by 2, 16:50 left first half. Lob pass underneath. Kesty, the intended receiver, but intercepted by Counts. Good retreating defense there by Chris Counts. Huskies have turnover problems early on here. Counts has it in the front court to White. He'll set and shoot from three-point range. Count it. A three-pointer for the silky smooth Chris White. He's got 5, and the Jacks have their biggest lead at 9-4. Huskies in the man-for-man offense with Ward out top, dribbling against Bauman. Gets it off Kessler. He'll try the running 17-footer. Yes! Dean Kessler's first 2. And it's back to a 3-point South Dakota State lead at 9-6. The Rabbits have it in the front court. White lobs low on the baseline. Knocked away. Kesty knocked it away. Charnowski recovered. That pass intended for Leiferman. Huskies on transition, back the other way. Kessler juking to his left, bounce pass out to Haug, passes up to Jay, dumps it off in the baseline. Springer, he springs to the basket, running 6-footer, in and out, and back in again. Nice move by Springer as he burst past White and got the basket, his second, 4 straight for the Huskies. They're down 9-8. Counts, top of the circle, passes in the lane, knocked away by Springer. Sharnowski with the ball, ahead to Ward, it's 3-on-2. Ward down the middle, dishes to Kessler. 3 if it counts. Yes! 5 for Kessler, 7 straight for the Huskies, and they have their first lead at 11-9. Troy Bauman, the point guard, on his dribble front court now for SDSU. Gets it off for White on the right wing. Springer a step behind it, giving him the respect he deserves defensively. Now Jeff Boer has it left wing, goes in the lane, pulls up from 13, swish. Jeff Boer on a nice move for his first 2 points. And we're tied for the second time tonight at 11 aside. Huskies 11, South Dakota State 11. 5 minutes into the first half. Dan Ward, front court now as the crowd becomes silent. Huskies in their offense. Sharnowski has it, top of the key, off to Kesty. Open from 18. Yes! On the left wing, Greg Kesty again showing that nice outside shooting touch. And the Huskies have their second 2-point lead. It's 13-11. Front court for the Rabbits on the left wing. Boer, he's guarded by Ward. A little bit of a mismatch there. Boer about 4 inches taller. Now White penetrates down the lane, knocked away cleanly by Kesty. White gets it back. Nice rejected by Sharnowski. A great block. Loose ball comes to Springer. He's one-on-one against Boer. Springer backs in and is called for the charge. Springer man-for-man against Boer, who is one of the top defenders in this league. Jeff Boer goes about 6'3", and Springer just backed into him on the man when Boer had defensive position. So Springer has his first foul, second on the Huskies. Team fouls 2 aside now. Entering this ballgame tonight, South Dakota State second only to Augustana in offense in the NCC. Augie averaging 88 points per game. Jackrabbits 80. The Huskies currently 6th at 72 per contest. Here come the Rabbits in the front court with White. They're down by 2. White penetrates right wing down the lane, dishes to his left, saved nicely by Boer. He kicks it back out. Now to White on the left wing. Passes off to Vanderwettering. Corey Vanderwettering was just checked in. He kicks it back out to Boer, and Boer travels. Turnover, South Dakota State. Vanderwettering, a guy with a 15-letter last name. That's getting up there in high territory, folks. Vanderwettering, he's out of Freedom, Wisconsin, 6'9" sophomore. Also in is Brad Timmerman, a 6'6" junior out of Cuba City, Wisconsin. As the Huskies bring it back the other way, trying to build upon their 2-point lead. Ward has it, top of the circle dribble, cuts to his left down the lane, then brings it back out of the pass to Springer, left wing. 25 in the shot clock. Springer with him on the left wing, still has it, dumps it off in the lane. Sharnowski out to Chris Bodette, shoots and misses, in and out, no good. Rebound loose out of bounds, goes to St. Cloud State. As it was a battle between Springer and Boer, and they ruled that it went out from Scott. Chris Bodette coming in, shooting that 15-footer and missing Bodette, the 6'9" sophomore, junior rather. Chris, a junior now out of Rochester, and also into the game for the Huskies, LaTroy Spann, 6'7" junior from Chicago, junior college transfer. Vanderwettering has it now, right high edge of the lane for the Jackrabbits. Gets it off for White, but Vanderwettering traveled before he got rid of the ball. Good denial defense by the Huskies, as nobody was able to come out and receive a pass there from Vanderwettering. And finally, he was moving the feet, called for traveling. Backcourt pressure, in fact, all over the court, man for man right now for the Jackrabbits. Ward has a double team, but dishes back over his shoulder, gets it to Bodette, and the Huskies are into the front court, breaking the pressure. Again, the Jacks like to play that 94-foot game. Kessler has it now. White is matched up with Dean, who tries a fadeaway from 16. Just missed, but he was fouled. Wow, that ball, a high arcing jumper from the low right wing, went high off the back iron. Would have been a chance for the 3-point play had it gone, but as is, Kessler will have a chance to shoot 2 free throws. Third team foul against the Rabbits, number 1 on White. The South Dakota State now. Ryan Natchez comes in, a 6'3" sophomore out of Milford, Iowa. Kessler will be at the stripe now for the Huskies, shooting 2. Dean entering this ballgame, 5th in the NCC in scoring, 6th in 3-point percentage, 6th in free throw percentage, and he hits the first of his 2 foul shots there. 6 points for Kessler. Huskies lead by 3. 13:04 left, first half. Husky basketball on 98 country. Second free throw is also good. Rich Raymond yelling defensive instructions for his club as they're in a half-court trap right now. South Dakota State breaks the pressure, though. Across midcourt comes Chris White on his dribble. Now the Huskies are dropping into a zone. Looks like it might be a 1-3-1 right now. Pass comes to Vandewetter at the free throw line. Out to Notches. He's on his dribble, right side perimeter. Now out to White, who currently is at the point guard for the Jacks. Gets it out Vandewettering. Back to Notches, and he is fouled by Bodette. Good give and go there between the guard, Ryan Notches, and his big man, Vandewettering, who was at the free throw line, got the pass from the wing, and then Vandewettering immediately dumped it back underneath to the cutting Notches, who was going to the basket. He got it and drew the foul. Foul on Bodette. Now team fouls are 3 aside, number 1 on Chris. And Ryan Notches goes to the free throw line. This kid can shoot free throws. First one, though, is no good. He came into this game 7th in the NCC in free throw percentage, but again, Notches misses the first. He's averaging 8.3 points per game off the bench. Second free throw is good. Husky lead is 15-12. Backcourt pressure, a near steal by Boer, but Springer comes up with it to Ward, who races in the front court. Now Kessler has the ball in the left wing, kicks it back out to Ward, who's on the shoulder-high dribble. Danny Ward now cuts to his left, top of the circle, lobs down low. Bodette takes a dribble, fakes, then shoots and missed. Rebound Span, bunks it up and missed. Rebound Bodette, kicks it up and in. First 2 for Bodette and the Huskies with their biggest lead at 17-12. Into the front court now comes Timmerman, Brad Timmerman, the backup forward out of Wisconsin. Clears it out between the circles to White. Chris White, who has 5 points so far, 1 3-pointer for the Rabbits. Dishes off right wing Boer, now on the baseline. Timmerman guarded well by Bodette. Timmerman dishes for Notches, who banks it in. Notches cutting down the lane, got a nice feed and banked it in. Good work by him. Moving without the ball, and it's 17-14 Huskies. Ward, front court, gets it off. Kessler on the right side perimeter, fakes twice. He tries to put it up, never got the shot off because he was fouled. As Kessler, leaning in towards the lane, drew the foul from Notches. First one on Ryan Notches. Substitutions for both clubs now. Dino DeVita in for the Huskies, replacing Ward at the point guard. DeVita, a 6'1" freshman at number 19. He's replaced by Mitch Lane, a 6'4" freshman from Inglewood, Colorado. And back in for Sdsu at center comes Pete Lafferman, taking the spot of Vandewettering. Lafferman, the starter. Scott Springer will also come out for the Huskies, and Joel McDonald comes in. McDonald, a 6'4" freshman out of Chisholm, who is currently 5th on the team in scoring, 7.6 points per game. Then Kessler, free throw line, good. Kessler's hit all 3 of his free throws now. He's got 8 points to lead all scorers. And the Huskies are up by 4, make it 3. Second free throw also by Kessler. This is St. Cloud State's biggest lead of the night so far. 11:30 left, first half, 19-14 Huskies. Chris White has it. Rifles it to Timmerman. Turnaround 10-footer, good. Brad Timmerman, his first basket. 19-16, backcourt pressure again by the Rabbits, but the Huskies break it on the pass ahead to Chris Bodette. Bodette throws it out in the front court now as he dribbled all the way ahead himself. Got it off to Kessler, now to DeVita between the circles. DeVita down on the right, bounce past Kessler, right wing. Comes out up in the baseline, we've got a whistle. And a loose back foul against South Dakota State. As Bodette was fouled, trying to receive that entry pass down there on the right side, fouls on Latham. 5 different Jackrabbits have 1 foul each. Now Jim Thorson brings in Shannon Dana. Dana had a skillful shot from him, 6-point shot for him. We'll give Chris White his first free. Pass comes in now. White shooting over 2 different Jackrabbits, made the 8-footer. The Huskies lead 21-16 on that second basket. Ball was lost out of bounds for a moment as it bounced away from Timmerman, so the officials whistled play down, and now we start once again. 21-16 Huskies. As Notches has it in the front court, passes low to the right box. Here's Leiferman, double team, still got it off and banked it in. Leiferman, who had Bodette shooting over him in a double team moments ago, turns the tables on the Huskies and gets his second basket. Back to a 3-point Husky lead as DeVita has it across the timeline after the Huskies break that full court pressure once again. DeVita cutting to his left, bounce pass left wing. Here's McDonald. Fakes right, goes left on the dribble to the baseline, kicks it back out now to DeVita. 25 left on the shot clock for the Huskies as Sdsu stays with the tough man for man. DeVita stops the dribble, gets it off Bodette at the line. Turns to the basket. Now to McDonald. Free throw line. McDonald bounce pass for Span. He'll try a 10-foot fadeaway. Good. Hit both sides of the rim. Went straight up and dropped through. LaTroy Span is on the board. And the Huskies lead again by 5. Pressure defensively by the Huskies as the Jackrabbits pass it around the perimeter. Pass down low from Lane. Intended for Lightman and knocked away out of bounds. So good hustling defense by SDSU right now. The Huskies try to protect this 5-point lead. Baseline pass into the left of their basket now for South Dakota State. Ryan Notches looking to get it in. Still looking. Finally does on the bounce pass down low to Lightman. He's double teamed. Passes out to Timmerman. Now to Shannon Dana, the backup point guard. Gets it off. Lane open for a 3. That's high off the rim. No good. Tapped up and off by Lightman. Rebound. Jump ball is called. And it goes to St. Cloud State on the alternate possession as Timmerman and Span tied it up. So it's a backcourt pass in for the Huskies. And now South Dakota State coming out with full court man-for-man pressure. They've also used a 2-man backcourt pressure where they try to put pressure on the inbounds man. But now they've got it all over the court. And DeVito will break it on his dribble ahead across the timeline. Huskies have handled the press so far pretty well, and that's a big key in this ball game. DeVita, top of the circle, cuts to his right down the lane, dishes for Span. He missed the short-range jumper, tapped it up and missed again, and then a whistle and a foul. LaTroy went right back up after missing that jump shot off the feed from DeVita, and then we had the foul called on Timmerman, his first, as a team 6 now on the Jackrabbits. St. Cloud State will insert Greg Kesky into the game. The starting center, he'll replace Bordette. And Dean Kessler will get a breather, and he's replaced by Chad Gurman, the 6'2 sophomore from Sandstone. Now 3 starters back in for Jim Thorson and the Rabbits. Troy Bauman, Chris White, and Jeff Boer all come back into the game after brief respites. They replace the 3 backcourt men who had been in there for South Dakota State. Pass in front court for the Huskies. They're up by 5. 9:15 left first half. Kesty has it right wing. Got a whistle, and Kesty carried it on his drive to the baseline. So a turnover against the Huskies. Huskies entered the night leading the NCC in rebounding differential. In other words, how many you have compared to your opponents on the average. South Dakota State 4th in that department. Huskies 1st in assists. Jackrabbits are dead last in the lead. Front court, SDSU with Boer on the right side wing. Bounce pass comes off to the free throw line. Now Timmerman clears it off for White. He goes down the lane. Triple team. Still got the shot off. No good. Rebound loose, comes out to the free throw line, controlled by the Huskies. As Span came up with the loose ball. Gets it off in traffic to DeVita. He races it ahead into the front court now for SCSU. Now DeVita will circle back and slow it up a bit on the offense. DeVita working his dribble, backing off near the timeline. Gets it off to McDonald on the left side, looking down low for Kesky. McDonald dribbles to the line, kicks it out. Gurman's 3, that's long, no good. Rebound taken by White as he out-jumped the 6'7 Greg Kesky. 6'2 Chris White brings it ahead, finds a man underneath, whistle, and a foul is called as White from just to the South Dakota State side of midcourt rifled it down low to Leiferman, and he was fouled by Kesky. Chris White is so much fun to watch play basketball because he is an open court, freelance type player, yet he has a certain level of control to his game. Boy, does he have skills. Great athlete, too. Foul on Kesty, number 1 on him. Team foul number 4 on the Huskies. Free throw by Leiferman is good, his 5th point. Pete Leiferman, who, as we mentioned, was born in Brookings and grew up in Aurora, South Dakota, is a walk-on at South Dakota State, now under scholarship, but began his career as a walk-on, and he's really contributed. Second free throw also good. So it's a 23-20 St. Cloud State lead. DeVita double-teamed in the backcourt. He's looking for help. Cuts to his left now into the front court. Lobs it ahead for McDonald. Good job by Dino to break the pressure. Gurman is open. 3 if it counts. No, that comes off the rim twice. Battle for the rebound comes to McDonald on the baseline. McDonald dribbles, tries to fade away from 13 off the front iron. Rebound Gurman. Fakes, puts it up. He missed short. And then the rebound finally cleared by the Jackrabbits as Leiferman gets it off. Outlet pass comes to Bauman. Front court, back to Leiferman. Cuts down the lane. The big center rumbling down the paint, and he was called for the foul. Charnowski, who had just come back in, was the man to bump Leiferman, who looked a little bit off balance going down the lane there, but mission accomplished. He drew the foul, and he'll go back to the line.
Charnowski, that's his first. Team foul number 5.
Charnowski's first. Team fouls now 6 on the Jackrabbits, 5 on the Huskies with 7:46 left first half. And Leiferman is back at the stripe. He'll shoot 2. Pete Leiferman, starting center for South Dakota State, hits the first free throw. He's got to feel good just about getting through South Dakota State's conference opener this year. They lost to North Dakota without suffering an injury. South Dakota State, last year and 2 years ago, in each season, they lost their starting center to a season-ending knee injury in their conference opener. 2 years ago, it was Cullen Ober. Last year, it was Troy Nelson. Nelson's still trying to rehabilitate that knee. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. Second free throw also good. And now a steal by South Dakota State. Ball knocked away at midcourt. White has it. Dishes for Brewer. Banks it in. South Dakota State has scored 6 straight, and they've regained the lead 24-23. Full court pressure caused that turnover right there. Pressure once again in the backcourt. Danny Ward back in, trying to handle the pressure. Last time he threw it away. Now he's got it just to the Huskies backcourt side of the line. Just got it in. Kessler, and now the Huskies will set up in the half-court offense, down by 1. Kessler has it, right wing off the feed from Ward. Kessler working man-for-man against White. Cuts to his left into the lane. Kessler puts it up. Never really got the shot off good because he was fouled by Bauman. Dean Kessler showing more of a willingness the last couple of games, and especially tonight, of penetrating for the Huskies. One of Dean's problems last year, at least in this reporter's view, was the fact that he would spot up and try that 20-footer constantly, but very seldom showed an inclination to go to the basket. But he's been doing that more of late, and that's going to loosen up that outside J for him a bit, too, as he starts getting more respect, a little bit more room to work from some of the defenders like Chris White, who are so quick to pick him up. That last foul on Bauman was Troy's second. That's 7 as a team now in South Dakota State. This one a 2-shot foul. First free throw is good by Kessler. And we're tied at 24. Mitch Lane is back in for South Dakota State. Chris Counts also checks back in at a forward. Huskies have brought Springer back into the game. Second free throw by Dean is also good. Kessler has made all 6 of his foul shots. He has 11 to lead all scorers. The Huskies back out on top 25-24. 7 minutes to the half. At halftime, we'll talk to St. Cloud State swimming coaches Diane Height and Mike Elsmore as part of our halftime activities. Rabbits are into the front court now. White rifles it down low on the baseline. Going to the basket. Vanderwettering got the roll and he was fouled. Vanderwettering showing nice low post moves, slicing into the lane, shooting over Kesty, who was called for the foul, his second. And Vanderwettering with the opportunity for the three-point play. Corey Vanderwettering's first points, and a free throw upcoming for number 44. Foul shot is away and no good. Short. Rebound taken by Kesty. Outlet comes to Ward. Smashes across the timeline, left to right, dumps it underneath. Charnowski out to Kesty, shoots and misses. Rebound Springer at the left box, puts it back up and missed it. Another rebound, Kesty puts it up, short, no good. And the rebound finally cleared by South Dakota State. Huskies tenacious on the offensive glass, but those short-range Jays wouldn't go. Now White back the other way. His three-pointer is in and out for the Jackrabbits. And the rebound is Springer. Intense play both sides here, and the Huskies get it back down by 1 with just over 6 minutes left in our opening half. Ward is in the front court, guarded by White. Cuts to his left, still going left side on his dribble. Passes out at the free throw line to Kesty. Kesty shooting over Vanderwettering, won't go, short. And the rebound taken by Lane. Outlet right comes to White. Chris White into the front court on his dribble. Right now Ward is guarding White. White's bounce pass comes on the left wing to Brewer. Switch in progress. Springer now takes White, who clears it off to Brewer, top of the circle, underneath Vanderwettering, goes to the basket and a foul. Charnowski got him from behind. Fans, especially those right underneath the South Dakota State basket, thought it was a clean block. And I think the officials ruled that there was some body contact as well. Kyle Charnowski, his second. Huskies seventh as a team. We'll have free throws when we come back, but we've got a timeout in the fourth. As we resume play now, Corey Vanderwettering is at the stripe, and his free throw is good. Vanderwettering with one more coming. 27-25 South Dakota State. Second free throw also good. St. Cloud State basketball on 98 country. John Schroeder from Hallenbeck Hall. Latter stages of the first half. 28-25 South Dakota State. Jackrabbits have led by as many as 5. In fact, that's been the biggest lead for either team. Here's Kessler into the left wrist line on his dribble. Passes back out. Charnowski. Now Springer leaves it for Ward at the point. Back to Kessler. Left side. Wing back to Ward now. Springer has it. Right wing takes the dribble. Thinks now shoots up. Springer really off balance, but got it to go down. His third bucket. And the South Dakota State leads down to 1. As White surveys the situation in the front court against a man-for-man Husky defense. White working the dribble to the left wing, finally gives it up. Boer, top of the key, to Lane in the right corner. Mitch kicks it back out. Vandewettering wide open from the line, but the shot won't go, and the rebound taken by the newly entered Chris Bodette. Just back into the game for Kesky at center. Bodette has it front court now. Left corner, Springer back out. Bodette from 16. Yes! Chris Bodette. Huskies might have the 2 best outside shooting centers in the league. Now, trying to muscle Vandewettering further out in the lane, and Bodette called for the foul. Kesky and Bodette both with very good range. I don't like to shoot that shot. I have a pretty good shooting touch, but won't take the shot. But you don't have to contain those two. This one is 6 points, and that forward will second. Vandewettering will shoot the bonus. Free throw is good. He's got one more coming. Vandewettering with 5. We are tied for the 4th time tonight at 29 all. Shannon Dana will come in now at a guard for South Dakota State. He'll take the place of Boer. And back in also is Pete Leiferman at a post. For the Huskies, Stuart Kramer comes in, the 6'4" wing player out of Osseo, Minnesota, Osseo High School. Second free throw by Vandewettering, no good. Rebound is tapped. Out on the perimeter, out of bounds, last touch to Husky. Didn't see who tapped it underneath. Somebody did, and it was a bullet that went off one of the Huskies out of bounds. So the Jackrabbits get it back. We're still tied at 29 with 4.5 minutes left first half. Dana has it on the inbounds pass. Now off to White. Guarded by Kramer. White cuts to his left, goes around Kramer, running 8-footer, good. White got the step on Kramer, and that's all he needed. He's so quick with the basketball. 7 for White. 31-29 in favor of the Rabbits. In the front court now for the Huskies, Ward. He's out on top. Stops at the free throw line, gets it off. Springer, one man goes by him. Springer gets the shot off and drew the foul. White came strafing past Springer. It almost looked like he caught him up in the face with a hand. He apparently did not, as Scott looks like he's all right. After White came flying by, Springer waited, then faked as he was against some taller players underneath, finally got the shot off. And a foul was called on Vandewettering, his first. Now Scott Springer will go to the line. Scott Springer is showing gradual improvement throughout his career. This young man's a very good athlete. And as he gets more and more basketball skills, he gets to be a more and more valuable player. 7 points now as he hits the first free throw. Springer right now 4th on the team in scoring. Currently 3rd in rebounding. One of the top players on the break for the Huskies with his athletic skills. Second free throw also good. Springer second only to Kessler tonight with 11 points. And we're deadlocked at 31. 4 minutes to the half as Mitch Lake has it in the front court. Back up forward. Gets it off the point to White. Now down low on the right block and fouled his Leiferman as he began his move to the baseline. And Kramer on the converging defense tripped him. First time Stu Kramer has been whistled on a foul tonight. So going to the line will be Leiferman, and he will shoot the 1-and-1. Chris White, who at this moment now has 999 career points at South Dakota State, and the free throw is good by Leiferman. One more coming. With that last basket moments ago, White with his 998th and 999th career points with the Jackrabbits. So he will in any moment become South Dakota State's 25th all-time career 1,000-point scorer. Second free throw also good. Leiferman's hit 6 straight from the line. He's got 10 points, 33-31 South Dakota State. There's Ward in the front court. Down the lane, tries a running 12-footer, no good. Dana might have gotten a hand on that ball. Loose ball rebound, out of bounds, stays with the Huskies. As the ball was last touched by Leiferman. Baseline passing now coming for St. Cloud State. To the right of the basket. Ward will try to get it in. Still looking, finally does on the left baseline. Cross-court pass to Kramer. He'll kick it back out. Kessler now to Ward, and the Huskies will set up. Ward cutting to his right. Feeds back out for Bodette. Springer has it on the left wing. Looking for Kessler. Springer to the basket. The running hook shot from the lane won't go as it crawled on the lane and finally squimmed out. Now the Jackrabbits back the other way, holding the ball and a 2-point lead in the front court. White has it. matched up with Kramer on the right side perimeter. White gives it up to Lane, top of the key plus. Lane back to White. Kramer with him very tightly. White down the lane, drew the foul. Stuart Kramer just not quite quick enough to keep up with Chris White when White gets that determined look on his face and goes to the hole, and that time Kramer called for his second foul. And that's 10 as a team now on the Huskies, and that prompts Butch Raymond to make a change as Kramer will come out and Spann will check in for the Huskies. And I would assume that would mean that we'll have a Springer matchup, Springer or Kessler now on White defensively. White at the line, going for his 1,000th point right here. The 6'2" senior puts it up and in, so there it is. 1,000 points. And some of the South Dakota State fans seem to know it who are here in attendance. Jackrabbits with a good contingent of fans. Amazing, 1,000 points in about a season and a half with the Jackrabbits. Second free throw also good. So he now has 9 on the night. And it's 35-31 South Dakota State. Backcourt foul as Dana right in front of our broadcast position on the floor with very close pressure on Ward. And Dana is called for the foul as he reached in. Shannon Dana's first. 9 as a team on the Jacks. Back to the other end, Dan Ward, who has not scored yet tonight, will shoot the 1-and-1. Dan Ward coming into the weekend first in the NCC in assists, averaging 7.5 per game. He's got a healthy lead. Second in assists, Augustana's Skip Wood with 5.6. Free throw is no good. In and out by Ward. Rebound by White. Here come the Jackrabbits running ahead. 3 minutes left. Dana's 16-footer off the rim. Rebound Kessler. Outlet White comes to Ward now. He lobs it ahead to Springer. Knocked away out of bounds off of Springer. And it goes over to the Jackrabbits. Huskies went for the alley-oop. They tried to hit Springer in mid-stride on that pass from Ward, but it went off first of Lake and then off of Springer's head, it appeared, and out of bounds. Good defense by Mitch Lane, who will now come out of the ballgame, replaced by Corey Vandewettering. Ryan Notches is back in for South Dakota State. He'll take the place of Boer. White has it front court for the Jacks. They're leading by 4. Pass down low on the left block, comes to Leiferman, double teams, kicks it back out. Notches will try a 3. That's good. Ryan Notches, his second field goal. He's a good three-point shooter, 42% from that range. That's 7 in a row by the Jackrabbits. They have their biggest lead at 38-31. Front court for the Huskies with Ward. Bounce pass to the high post. Comes to Bodette. Clears it off. Kessler open from 19. Yes. Top of the key jumper by Kessler, who's got 13 to lead the Huskies. And it's 38-33 in favor of South Dakota State. Shannon Dana dribbles ahead now for the Rabbits. Gets it off to White. Top of the circle. Now to Notches on the left side perimeter. Dribbling between his legs. Kessler with him. Bounce pass comes to the high post. Here's a foul called on Leiferman. Offensive foul as he elbowed his way around Bodette. Muscling into the lane from the high post, and Leiferman called for his second foul. Player control foul, no free throws. It'll be a backcourt pass in for the Huskies. 1:57 left in the first half. Scores and a couple of diving interviews coming up at halftime. If you're a fan of the Husky tank programs, we'll tell you about them. Top of the circle jumper, Ward, off the rim, no good. Offensive board by Bodette, muscles it back up, won't go, but he was fouled. Huskies have done a good job on the offensive glass so far in this ball game. Problem has been that in a lot of their follow-up attempts, they've been off the mark. That foul was on Vandewettering. 2 on him. And Bodette will step to the line to shoot a double. Earlier tonight, the St. Cloud State women's team defeated South Dakota State 72-69. A solid effort there for the Huskies as they get their second conference win against 5 losses. Chris Bodette's free throw is no good. Comes out of there. Minute 42 remaining first half. 38-33 South Dakota State. One more free throw coming for Big Bo, Chris Bodette, the 6'9" junior. Number 50, foul shot is good, his 7th point. Now Bodette will come out, replaced by Joel McDonald for St. Cloud State. South Dakota State lead is down to 4 as Shannon Dana brings it in the front court now for the Jackrabbits. Feeds on the right wing to Notches. Bounce pass down low was intended for counts, knocked away by the Huskies out of bounds. So St. Cloud State keeps it. Chris Counts, who at 6'8" is first in the NCC in steals and fifth in field goal percentage. That latter stat, the kind of statistical note that you would think of from a 6'8" kid. Not the steals necessarily, but a very good athlete. Top of the circle jumper, notches off the back iron, no good. Two Huskies went after the rebound. They both lost it for a moment. Finally, South Dakota State gets it back. White gets a feed, shoots from 10, rims out, rebound Span, and he is fouled. Bad luck there for the Huskies as they went after that rebound on the missed shot by Notches. It was Springer and I believe McDonald both going up after the ball, and as they both got their hands off it, it deflected away. It was loose for a moment, recovered by South Dakota State. Dana got the pass off for White. He missed the jumper. Span got the rebound and was fouled by Notches. Second on Ryan. And now LaTroy Span has 2 points tonight. We'll check the ninth at the other end with a minute 12 left. Trying to trim this 4-point South Dakota State lead. Free throw rolls out. No good. LaTroy Span shooting only 26% from the line coming into this game. Second free throw barely caught the front iron. No good. Well, this was play down. I don't really know why. It did hit the iron, but it's immaterial. South Dakota State had the rebound, and they're in the front court after a pair of misses by Span. On the left side wing, here's Notches. Gets it off for White. He's penetrating. Shot is blocked. Held ball is called. Now they're going to say traveling. Big block by Span as he helped out in the defense and clearly got a clean block on White. Rejected that running jump shot from the lane. And they ruled that White came back down to the floor and traveling. So that's a turnover. Now the officials are still talking it over. Yes, they will say traveling. As the umpire, Mark Gelly, made the call, and for a moment he was talking to referee Tom Perot as to whether or not that was indeed a travel, but that's how they rule. Could have been a held ball as well, and then it would have gone to South Dakota State, because they've got the possession arrow in their favor. 50 seconds left, backcourt pressure, 10-second violation on the Huskies. There was a two-man backcourt pressure situation with White and Dana, and the Huskies just did not get it forward soon enough, so they turn it over, 49 seconds left. 4-point Jackrabbit lead, they've got it in the front court. 40 on the shot clock, now 44 on the game clock, so we'll see how far the Jacks choose to run it down. Notches has it, top of the circle. Timmerman, he'll shoot from the right side, no good. Long rebound comes to Ward, and he starts the break. Ward is bumped at midcourt, and a foul is called as Counts leaned in. Counts was half running and half reaching coming into the front court. One of those situations where the man in front of him slows down. Counts wasn't really ready for it, but still was called for the foul. He's second. So now Ward will shoot two. Danny Ward, like LaTroy Span, with some work to do next summer at the foul line. He's only 47% in free throws, but this one's good. Ward's first point. We mentioned the assists. Ward right now leading the NCC. 7.5 assists per game. Augie's Skip Wood, 5.6. Anthony Hines of North Dakota State, 5.5. And Ron Walker, the junior college transfer at Nebraska-Omaha, 5.2. Those are the guys who are averaging 5 or more per game. Second free throw also good by Ward, so it's a 2-point game with 20 seconds left. South Dakota State with the lead and the basketball. Front court. 15 seconds left as Notches clears it out now for Dana. Dana near the midcourt stripe, starts his dribble, 10 seconds left. High post pass Counts, he's double teamed, still double teamed, finally fouled. Counts was being mummified at the free throw line by Span. LaTroy had his hand on the ball at first, but finally was called for reaching in. First foul on Span, so Counts will shoot a double here. Chris Counts, who is a decent scorer for South Dakota State. Not a great one, but averaging 8 points per game. He's yet to score tonight. And the free throw is up and good. Chris, whose father, Mel Counts, played for 2 different teams during a brief National Basketball Association career. That was when Chris was a very young boy. Says he doesn't even remember his dad's days in the NBA. Second free throw also good. 5 seconds left. Huskies down 40-36. Ward races it ahead. Front court off balance. 19-footer skimmed the rim. No good. It was short. Rebound South Dakota State and the buzzer sound. So a good first half of basketball. The Huskies have pulled out times at 5.50, but they're finding themselves in the races. Now intermission has scored. 12 turnovers, 8 for the Huskies, 7 for the Jackrabbits. Alternate possession pass into South Dakota State, and we are underway with second half play from Hallenbeck Hall as the Jackrabbits have the ball in the 40-36 lead. South Dakota State back to its original starters, led by point guard Troy Bauman, who has it on the right side. Passes down low in the right corner. Jeff Boer's long-range three-pointer, no good. Rebound, Kesty. Ahead to Ward. Now further ahead front court, Huskies turn it over as they try to push it ahead on the break. Kessler could not control the ball, but it was a tough pass to handle. Both teams back to their original starters. That's Ward, Kessler, Springer, Sharnowski, and Kesty for the Huskies. Bauman, White, Boer, Counts, and Leiferman for South Dakota State. Front court now for SDSU. White has it, right wing, dribbles to his left, stops in the lane, puts it up halfway down the paint, way off the mark. Whistle, jump ball called on the rebound. It goes to the Huskies. Arrow in favor of St. Cloud State as Leiferman and Sharnowski tied that one up. Backcourt pass in now for the Huskies. Full court man-for-man pressure here, South Dakota State. Pass comes into Sharnowski. Deep in the backcourt. Takes the dribble, leaves it for Kessler. Now he sprints past White into the front court. Kessler still moving. Puts up the running 14-footer off the front rim. Rebound is tapped out, goes into the backcourt. Recovered by Ward. Must have been last touched by the Jackrabbits. So the Huskies will try again. A new 45 in the shot clock. Kessler fakes from the free throw line, shoots, and hits. That fake by Kessler got White into midair, and that freed Dean from 15. Kessler leads all scorers. He's got 15 on the night. And it's 40-38 South Dakota State. There's White's entry pass to Leiferman. Turnaround six-footer won't go as it rolled off the rim. Rebound Kesty. Outlet comes to Ward. He races past midcourt. Clears it out. Kessler, three if it counts. No, off the rim. Tapped up and in by Sharnowski. Sharnowski battling Leiferman underneath with a great offensive putback. First two for Haug, and we're tied at 40. First 4 points of this half belong to the Huskies. Leiferman has it, right edge of the paint. Takes a dribble. Shot is blocked. Whistle and a foul is called. Kesty will be called. Greg Kesty, the first player on either club to come up with a third foul. First foul of this half. And at the free throw line now will be Pete Leiferman.
Stay home with him, Spring. Stay home with him.
Leiferman, who led the Jackrabbits in the first half in scoring with 10 points. He was 6 of 6 from the line. Free throw is no good. Boy, that one was a skewed foul shot if there ever was one. As Leiferman, the ball came over his right shoulder. Sort of cocked that ball off to the side. Apparently that's his style, though. He does the same thing on the second one, and that one's perfect. So I guess you do it if it works, and so far it's been pretty good for Pete Leiferman. 7 of 8 from the line so far tonight. 41-40 Jackrabbits. Huskies on transition. Sharnowski bobbles and travels. Oh, great feed by Ward as he had streaked past midcourt on the break. Gunned it underneath to Sharnowski, who could not control the ball cleanly, and when he bobbled it, he traveled. Jackrabbits now with Leiferman, and he walks. Leiferman getting a pass on the perimeter, and looked like he panicked a little bit as he wanted to go to the dribble, and he traveled. So the big men turning it over for both clubs. Pass in coming now for St. Cloud State in the backcourt. The Huskies down by 1. Early stages, second half. Ward now across the timeline. Now Dan will circle back on his dribble and set the offense. Dumps it off. Kessler fakes the running jump shot from the left wing. Backs off on his dribble. Gets it off Springer. Top of the circle. Down the lane. Had it stripped away by Boer. What defense by Boer. 3-on-2 break. Boer dumps it off to his right. White is fouled by Ward. Ward was the only man back on that break. Dan did a good job to prevent the transition basket. Ward's foul is his second. The Huskies' second. And Chris White will go to the line. South Dakota State last year, as we mentioned, set a team record for steals in a season, over 350 last year. And they had 3 of the top 5 individuals in steals in the league last season, as White's first free throw no good. Jeff Boer, who came up with that last theft here a moment ago, he was second in the conference. Tony Matthews, the now departed point guard, was 4th, and Chris White was 5th in steals. South Dakota State also had Pete Leiferman at number 7, so they had 4 in the top 10. Second free throw by White is good. He made 1 of 2. Now a foul is called as Ward brought it in the front court, dribbled right into a trap by Leiferman and Bauman, but Leiferman called for reaching in. His third foul, first on the Jackrabbits this half. Now the first substitution of the second half. Leiferman will come out, and Jim Thorson will send in Corey Vandewettering. Thorson is one of the more laid-back coaches in this league. Takes a little bit to get him riled up. Word was, though, that he was pretty hot under the collar after the Jackrabbits lost to North Dakota State on Tuesday. Pass comes to the lane. Now Kesty's turnaround jumper won't go, but it's tapped up and in. Springer with a mid-air putback. Huskies have had 2 nice tap-backs this half as they continue to hit the offensive glass hard. Now White bombs away. 3-pointer, it's good. Chris White, he's got 4 this half. 13 on the night, 45-42 SDSU. 3 minutes into the second half as Ward feeds on the right wing. Charnowski now in the right corner. Springer guarded by Boer. Passes down low on the right block. Kesty turns and misses the jump hook as it's spun out. No good. Rebound of the Jackrabbits, and they're running 2-on-3. White cuts to his left from 18. Hit it. He's heating up, folks. There's nobody more dangerous in this league, winner hot, than Chris White, as he's got 15 now, and it's a 5-point Jackrabbit lead. Ward, with nearly an over and back, comes into the front court across the timeline against that full court pressure. Jackrabbits, a splendidly conditioned team. They go full court all the time. Pass underneath is good, and we got a basket. I don't think it'll count, though, as Springer on the alley-oop got a great feed from Ward, backdoor play, but Springer was fouled en route, and they will not count that banking shot on the running attempt by Springer. Instead, they called a foul on Boer. That's his first of the night. Team fouls are to his side now. The Huskies with Ward and Springer run that backdoor alley-oop so nicely, and that was a pretty attempt there, but again, it didn't count. Lob pass in from the baseline now to Charnowski. Puts it up over traffic, missed the jumper off the back rim. Rebound by Counts for South Dakota State. Bodette back in now for the Huskies as the Jackrabbits run it ahead. Pass comes to Counts down the lane. Off-balance jumper, no good. He might have been fouled and got away with it. And then on the loose ball rebound, a foul is called on St. Cloud State. Counts on his dribble, sliding down the right edge of the paint, and he kind of lost his footing and put it up well off balance. Then a foul was called on the rebound after he missed on Charnowski. That's Haug's second. Third on the Huskies. Charnowski now gets a breather. He comes out, and Spann comes in at the power forward. Pass in baseline right for the Jackrabbits. Front court comes to Counts in the corner. Runs it in the lane and had it knocked away by Ward. Stripped cleanly. Kessler comes up with the loose ball. Huskies are in the front court. Ward gets it off for Bodette. Now to Springer on the left side wing. Back to Bo. He's open from 16. Swish. Bodette, who has been hot from long range tonight. The big center has 9, and the Husky deficit is down to 3. 47-44 Jackrabbits. Here's Bauman, stolen away by Ward at midcourt. Ward is man-for-man against Bauman. Behind the back pass, eludes Bodette, who chases it down in the corner. So the Huskies can't get the transition bucket, but they get the possession and a chance to tie this ball game if they can hit a 3. Kessler has it, man-for-man against White on the left wing. Kessler to the baseline, fakes, now spins, shoots, no good, very short. And the rebound is taken by the Jacks. Ahead now to White, on transition to Bauman, who lays it in. A quick feed by White. Found Bauman cutting through the lane. Transition basket, timeout, St. Cloud State. For the top 20. Pass in for the Huskies off their timeout. They're down by 5. 49-44. Backcourt pressure and a throwaway. Ward threw it away, intercepted by the Jacks. Here's White, pulls up, hits the jumper. Boy, that timeout was ill spent as the Huskies just throw it away against the pressure. It's now 51-44. Ward races in the front court, gets it to Spann, who jams. LaTroy Spann on the slam dunk got behind that full court pressure for the Jackrabbits. It's now 51-46. South Dakota State front court, Knox is open for the 3, missed it. It was short. And the rebound run down by Spann. Gets it off for Ward. Here come the Huskies into the front court with 14.5 minutes left in our second half. Springer left corner out to Bodette, free throw line. Plays it out between the circles now for Ward. Ward is guarded by White. Now Kessler, he's guarded by Natchez. Kessler rifles underneath. Bodette is there and banks it in from the right box. Chris Bodette has 11, and the Huskies with 4 straight are down by 3, 51-48. Across the timeline, front court on his dribble now. Chris White, the junior college transfer, the NCC's leading scorer, has it on the left wing. Cuts to his right, now goes down the lane, dishes to the right on the baseline. Notch's running jumper is an air ball. Timmerman tried to follow up. He also failed to draw iron. Rebound Huskies. Into the front court, Kessler, right wing, moves by his man, banks it up and missed the layup. Rebound tapped loose. Springer has it. He lost the ball. Whistle. What do we got? A foul underneath. Well, that was a delayed call by referee Tom Perot. I thought for a moment they were going to call traveling on Springer as he had the ball knocked away by Vanderwettering, and they elected to call the foul. Van de Wettering's third. 3 as a team on South Dakota State as well. And now Mitch Lane will check into the lineup. He'll replace Boer at a forward. Leiferman comes in at center, and Van de Wettering will check out now, and Shannon Dana will be the third substitution in this sequence for the Jacks, and Chris Knight will get a chance to catch his breath. 13:44 left, 51-48 South Dakota State as Scott Springer steps up to the foul line.
Danny's got 10. Danny, you got 10.
Springer with 4 big bounces, spins the ball, dips at the knees, puts it up, and off, no good, off the left edge of the iron. One more coming for Springer, who is second on the club in scoring right now with 10 points. Second foul shot by the junior is good. 1 of 2 for Springer. He'll come out now in favor of Joel McDonald as the Huskies make a change at the small forward. 2-point ball game, 51-49, South Dakota State. Husky Hoops on 98.1 FM. John Schroeder from Hallenbeck Hall as Shannon Dana runs it in the front court on his dribble. Feeds it off on the right wing for Ryan Notches. Now to the high post. Leiferman. Now they work it in the corner. Lane back out to Brad Timmerman, the backup forward on the right wing. Dana. Jackrabbits moving the ball well around the perimeter. Lane has it. Fires it in the lane now. This is Leiferman. Fadeaway 12-footer. Won't go from the right baseline. Loose ball rebound comes to Notches. Spins it back up and short. No good. Whistle. Ball goes out of bounds off of Span. So the Huskies, who did a great job on the offensive glass in the first half and early here in the second half, seeing South Dakota State do some yeoman work on their end of the court there off the boards. Notches will come out now, replaced by Troy Bauman. And it'll be a pass in from baseline left. In the left corner, the pass comes to Timmerman. Now the Jackrabbits bring it back out on top. Now they move it in the corner to Lane, guarded by McDonald. Lane, bounce pass down low to Timmerman. Works to his left. Bounce pass cross court, left wing. Bauman tried to feed to the block, but a foul is called as Span came over the back of Leiferman, picked up the foul. Huskies have 4 this half as a team. Span has his second as an individual, and now LaTroy will come out. Shanowski takes his place. Another baseline pass incoming for the Rabbits. They're up by 2. It's been a long possession. Pass down low, and another foul is called, as it was a good feed to Timmerman cutting down the lane. He faked to get Bodette in the air, and then Chris came down and had the foul. You can hear Coach Butch Raymond encourage his team on intense groundings. 3 fouls, Bodette. 5 as a team on the Huskies. Pass goes to Dana, another foul. As Kessler bumped Dana on the perimeter, trying to make a move to the Huskies. Kessler's foul is his first of the night. That's 4 quick fouls on the Huskies. They went from 2 team fouls to 6 in a real hurry. 3 team fouls now in South Dakota State. Pass in for the Jackrabbits, still in the front court. With 13 minutes left, second half, and the Jacks leading by 2. They've got it out top now with Bauman. Troy Bauman working against Kessler. Bounce pass to the high post near the free throw line. Timmerman turns to the basket, takes a dribble, kicks it back out now to Dana. Shannon Dana leaves it for Bauman near the timeline, 20 on the shot clock. Bauman holding up 5 fingers, calling a play. Dumps it off to the high post. Leiferman working off the pivot foot, dribbles by Bodette, double teamed on the baseline. Kessler tries to knock it away, and a foul is called. That'll be on South Dakota State. Kessler cleanly knocked that ball away on the help side defense, and then Leiferman fouled, tried to get it back. 4 on Leiferman, and that's 4 now as a team on the Jackrabbits. Pass in Huskies. They come into the front court with a chance to tie or take the lead. Bodette hands it off for Ward on the left wing. Ward to the free throw line. Dishes to Kessler, back to Ward. Danny out top dribbling with 12 minutes left. Whistle and a foul on Dana, as he fouled Ward, who cut to the lane. Dana has his second. 5 as a team now on the Jacks. Here comes Chris Counts back in. Chris White also returns for South Dakota State. Leiferman comes out. Dana will also hit the bench. Pass in for the Huskies. McDonald will inbounds, and he does so to Kessler. Now to Bodette at the high post. Fakes the backdoor pass. Gets it off for Ward. Back to Bodette. Down the lane, and he gets it. On finger roll. Bodette got it to go down. Chris Baudet having perhaps his best game of the year. He's got 13. We're deadlocked at 51. 11:40 left. Jackrabbits working their half-court offense with the high post man Count standing at the free throw line, looking at the man with the basketball, Bauman, who now dumps it off for Lane in the right corner. Back to Bauman, rifles to the basket, picks up the foul, dunked the shot off, got it to go down, and he drew the foul. Well, what a move by Bauman as he slid down the left edge of the court, going to the basket, saw the opening to the lane. He was fouled hard, just released the ball, just put up a prayer, and it was answered as it went high off the glass and through. Bauman's third basket. He's got 6 points, and he'll try to complete the three-point play. That foul was on Baudet. Chris is fourth, so he'll come out at 7 as a team now on the Huskies. Bauman's free throw's good. That was a big play. 54-51 South Dakota State. Greg Kesty, who has the ball now, is the man who came back in for Baudet, and now Kesty loses it. It was knocked away. White back the other way, goes coast to coast and scores. Kesty was dribbling by himself, but one of those lightning-quick Jackrabbits knocked it away from behind. That's 5 in a row now for the Jacks, and they lead at 56-51. Just over 11 minutes left as Ward sets up a play for the Huskies in the front court. To Baudet at the free throw line. Now to Kessler down the lane, drew the foul. As White, who comes out of that scrum looking worse for wear, as he might have gotten a hand or an elbow in the midsection by Dino. White is called for the foul, reaching in his second. That's 6 as a team now in the Jackrabbits. We had a lot of free throws in the first half of this ball game. Combined total of 32 free throws in the first half. We're going to have a ton this half, too, the way it's going. 56-51, dangerous pass in comes to Kessler out top. Huskies now will set the offense as Ward takes the pass from Kessler, and Ward begins his dribble, top of the circle, plus gets it out for McDonald on the left wing. McDonald to the baseline, shoveled it back out through traffic, got to Kesty in the corner. Now they'll reverse it and bring it back out to Ward on top. McDonald, he's open for the three-point effort, short, no good. Rebound, Sharnowski, banked it back up and in. You can count it when you get a foul. Fouls on Timmerman, his second. And now both teams are into the bonus, although this will be a single-shot foul, of course, following the made basket. Sharnowski with 4 points. Both baskets this half, Haug with a chance at the three-point play. Haug entering this weekend 5th in the NCC in block shots, 7th in steals, 5th in rebounding, 9th in block shots, 7th in steals, and 10th in career steals for St. Cloud State. So Haug putting up the good numbers, and his free throw is good. 56-54 now. South Dakota State lead down to 2. Jackrabbits with the ball, left baseline, Counts, threw it away, tried to get it off for Timmerman, but Ward stepped in front at the free throw line. Kessler, front court, fakes the three, goes to the basket, pulls up, 10-footer off the back iron, no good. Rebound tapped out to Timmerman. Clears it off for Bauman. And here come the Jackrabbits now in the front court. White cuts to his right, baseline, dumps it off in the lane. Timmerman, double team, fadeaway 13-footer is good. Under pressure from Sharnowski, Timmerman somehow got that one to go down. Past the halfway mark of the second half. 58-54 Jackrabbits. Now McDonald tries a left baseline jumper, no good. Sharnowski muscles back up the rebound, no good. Another rebound, Kesty banked it in, and you can count it. The Huskies are animals on the offensive glass, and they get another one to go down there. This time the foul is on Lane, and now Kesty will have the opportunity at the three-point play. St. Cloud State coming into this ball game tonight, the NCC's top rebounding team in terms of rebound ratio. That is how many rebounds the Huskies have in league games as compared with their opponents. They came in plus 3.1 rebounds per game, more than their opponents. And they are hitting the glass hard tonight. Free throw by Kesty, no good. So the Huskies still trail by 2. Front court. Mitch Lane fakes the three, gets Springer in midair, takes a dribble, shoots from 15, no good. Offensive board by Timmerman, blocked from behind, out of bounds by Springer. And the Jackrabbits will keep it, but a nice block by Scott preventing the putback basket there. Baseline toss in now for the Jacks. Bauman looking, loops it out top to Lane. Mitch Lane clears it off. Now Bauman down the left baseline. Missed the running, driving layup. Rebound comes to Ward. Danny Ward threads his way through traffic. Rifles it ahead to Springer. Goes to the basket and puts it in. Big time move by Springer as he's spun by his man, and we're tied at 58. 9 minutes left. White is in the front court for the Jackrabbits to Timmerman on the baseline. Van de Wettering gets it to go down on the driving layup and a foul on Kesty. Van de Wettering just straightened up to the baskets. Both shoulders heading towards the basket on that baseline drive. Kesty with nowhere near position and called for his third foul. And Corey Van de Wettering will go to the line where he was 3 of 5 in the first half. Van de Wettering now with 7 points. His foul shot is short. Rebound McDonald. So Van de Wettering misses, and it's still a 2-point lead. 60-58 for South Dakota State. Bounce pass comes to Springer, front court. St. Cloud State free throw line. Dumps it off Kessler, right corner. Trying to juke his way past White. Shoots over White and nails it. Springer on a fall-away 15-footer. Kessler, rather, off the feed from Springer. Dean Kessler with 17 to lead the Huskies. And we're tied again at 60. 9th tie in this ball game. Lane will shoot a 3. That's an air ball from the right corner. Rebound out of bounds to the Huskies. Looked like that ball went off of Kesty's leg, and it draws a protest from Jim Corson, but it also looked like Bauman came over the shoulder of Kesty trying to go for the offensive board. I would have called a foul on that play. As is, they give the ball to the Huskies. It's almost an as-it-happens make-good call on one like that. Backcourt pressure by the Jacks. Huskies have it. We're tied at 60. Just over 8 minutes left as Ward comes into the front court. Clears it for Springer now on the right side. Right in front of our broadcast position near the Husky bench. Now back out to Ward. Dribbling right to left on the perimeter. Ward gets it off Kessler. Fadeaway 16-footer. Swish! And the Huskies have their first lead of the second half at 62-60. Running jump shot. Kessler makes it go down. And he's got 19. 7:45 remaining. Here's White. Fakes the top of the key jumper. Bounce pass. No-look pass underneath. Intercepted by Kessler. Comes out on the right side. Kessler on the break. Slows it up in the front court. Gets it off for Ward. Ward between the circles on his dribble. Feeds now on the right wing. Here's McDonald. Looking for Kesty. Gets it off. Kessler from 16. Shot is blocked by a streaking Chris White. Now the feed ahead to White. By himself. Goes in the front court. Draws the foul. As he went to the basket, White was fouled by McDonald. McDonald, White, and Springer all went down in the play. White is still down. Springer slow to get up. Everybody appears to be all right, but a big collision as White raced into the front court after a spectacular block. Got the feed on the break, and McDonald picked up the foul. White will go to the line if he's able to stand the pain. He appears to be injured. Foul on McDonald is his first tonight. Chris White, who was voted the most valuable player of the NCC postseason tournament last year, when South Dakota State took North Dakota to the finals before losing to the Sioux by 3 points. White entering this game, the NCC's leading scorer, 5th in the conference in free throw percentage as well. Free throw is good. He's hit 4 of his 5 foul shots tonight. He's got 20 points now, averaging about 25 in league play. Brad Timmerman comes out. Pete Leiferman back in at a post for South Dakota State, and as big man change as well for the Huskies as Springer will get a break, limping after that collision coming out. Springer replaced by Bodette. So the Huskies will have a little bit more size in there right now with Bodette, Chernowski, and then McDonald, Kessler, and Ward in the backcourt. Second free throw, White, it is good. Rolled around and dropped. 21 now for Chris White. And we're tied at 62. Front court, Huskies, McDonald on the left side wing, guarded by White. McDonald goes to the basket, stops, shoots from 8, hits. McDonald got White in midair and hit the jumper. That's Joel's first 2 of the night. 64-62, White from three-point range, switch. Right wing jumper by White. He's got 24. He's got 3 trifectas on the night. Now the Huskies breaking back the other way. Ward penetrates, clears it out for McDonald. Shoots on the run from 14. Off the rim, no good. Tapped up and off by Chernowski. Rebound by Boer. So So the Jacks get it back, leading now by 1 following that White three-point bomb, and they're into the front court. White lobs it down low. Here's Leiferman looking back for White. Can't get it to him. Leiferman takes a dribble, shoots from 13. That's short. Rebound tied up in the lane. Jump ball is called, and it'll go to South Dakota State. As Bodette tied it up down low with Timmerman. Now back into the ballgame comes Ryan Notches for SDSU. He'll give Bauman a break at the point. Jeff Boer will pass this ball in from baseline left. Boer gets it in for Vandewettering, and a foul is called on the passing. Charnowski holding Vandewettering as he tried to cut to the basket. So Haug called for his 4th foul. St. Cloud State with Charnowski and Bodette both in the ball game, both playing with 4 fouls with 6:25 left. Huskies have only had 2 players foul out of games this year. Ward and Spann, they each fouled out once. Vandewettering's free throw is good. 66-64, South Dakota State. One more coming for Corey, the big rugged 6'9" backup forward. This guy's a good player off the bench for the Jackrabbits. Second free throw is also good. So it's a 3-point South Dakota State lead, and they come out with that full court pressure again, and Ward trying to get his way through it, and he does so on the weaving dribble across the timeline. Setting up the half-court offense now. The 5', 10" Dan Ward, the freshman, stops his dribble, gets it off at the free throw line to Bodette. Now to McDonald, cutting off a pick, stops at the free throw line, bounce pass in the lane. Bodette fakes, puts it up, and drew the foul. Vandewettering disappointed that that foul is called. That's his 4th. He and Leiferman each have 4 fouls, so both teams' post players in foul trouble right now. McDonald checks out, and Springer comes back in. Tomorrow night, Augustana is here in St. Cloud. The young Vikings, who have 3 of the top 4 scorers right now in the NCC, and they lead the conference in team scoring, so we expect a fireworks show tomorrow night. And our broadcast coverage begins at 7:30 here on 98.1 FM, 98 Country. Free throw by Bodette is good. His 14th point, that ties his season high. Second foul shot off the back rim. Rebound taken by Notches for South Dakota State. So with 6 minutes left, the Jackrabbits have the basketball and a 2-point lead, 67-65, as Chris White advances on the dribble front court. Working to the right side perimeter. White still dribbling. Gets it off for Notches, top of the key. Looks left, passes back to the right to White. Now Boer, right baseline jumper is good. Just inside the 3-point arc, Jeff Boer has 6 tonight. 4-point Jackrabbit lead. Pass ahead, here's Bodette. Stops at the free throw line, clears it out for Ward. Setting the offense. Ward on his dribble, beyond the top of the key, dishes for Kessler, fakes the jumper, goes down the lane, kicks it back out to Springer on the wing. Now to Ward out top. 25 in the shot clock. Ward cutting to his right on the dribble, goes to the basket, trying to pass back underneath, but Leiferman cleanly intercepted on a half block, half intercept. Now White back the other way, shoots from 3-point range, rattles out, no good. Rebound out of bounds, whistle, and it goes to the Huskies. That was a tough call right there for the official, Don Hockman, as there were 2 Jackrabbit players, Notches and Leiferman, against Charnowski. Really tough to see who it went off of, but maybe the officials ruled 2 against 1. Let's give it to the Huskies. And numerous lead changes. It's been a good NCC game. Full court pressure by the Jacks. Huskies break it. Bodette pulls up and hits the 13-footer. South Dakota State has given Chris that shot all night, and to his credit, he's never hesitated to take it. He has 16, a season high, and it's a 2-point Jackrabbit lead with 4:45 left. Pass in the lane, knocked away. Foul on Charnowski, and that'll be 5 on Haug. Questionable call. I'm not saying it was a wrong call, just a questionable call. A very close play as Charnowski reached in from behind Chris Counts and knocked it away. And for the first time this year, Haug Charnowski fouls out. 5 points. And Haug leaves with 4:44 left. You can hear the buzzer sounding, and Butch Raymond giving Joel McDonald instructions. As Charnowski comes out, McDonald replaces him. Again, just the 3rd time this season that the Huskies have had a player foul out of a game. That's not a bad percentage. And the first time that Haug has been disqualified from the game due to fouls. At the free throw line now will be Chris Counts. He has but 2 points all night. Averages 8 per game. Free throw good. And all 3 of his points have been from the foul stripe. 70-67, South Dakota State. Clock arrested with 4:44 left. Second free throw also good. Counts makes them both. 4-point Rabbit lead. Here's Ward now, sliding to his left on the dribble, front court, gets it off on the left side wing to McDonald. Jump pass back to Kessler now, top of the circle. Kessler dribbling to his left, gives it up to Ward out top. 25 left to shoot. Ward looking to his left, now starts dribbling that way, dumps it off on the wing to Kessler. He's working against Boer. Kessler dribbles up a Bodette pick. Kessler down to the baseline. Triple team, kicks it back out to Springer, who passes up the 15-footer. Springer in the lane, drew the foul. That'll be on Bauman. His third. And Springer will shoot 2. Both teams now at 10 fouls. So for the rest of the night, on common or shooting fouls, we'll see a double situation for both these clubs. And Springer now stepping to the line. Earlier tonight, St. Cloud State's women's team winning 72-69. Foul shot by Springer, no good off the back rim. And the Huskies trying to make it a men's-women's sweep here, but they've got some work to do. Down by 4 with 4:10 on the clock. Second free throw by Scott Springer is no good. He missed them both. Scott, a normally reliable free throw shooter, but he misses both, and then a foul called on Bodette coming over the back, and that's 5 on Chris Bodette. Mark Gelly, the umpire, who was out on top on that play near the timeline, made that call. Interesting call, as that play was right underneath the basket. Again, probably a correct call, but it was just interesting that he made it. So Bodette becomes the second Husky to fall out of this ballgame. And the way Chris produced tonight, he's a tough loss. Good hand for Bodette. A season-high 16 points for Bodette as he falls out with 4:10 left. And Leiferman now will shoot 2. Free throw is good. Leiferman has been a dynamo from the line tonight. 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Second free throw is also good. 13 tonight for Leiferman. And the Jackrabbits lead 73-67. Just over 4 minutes left in regulation as Ward enters the front court. Kesty, the only true post player in the lineup right now for the Huskies. Bounce pass to the right corner, comes to McDonald. Looks right, passes left, down to Kesty on the wing, now to Kessler. He's in traffic, fadeaway 10-footer off the rim, no good. Rebound loose, comes to the side, controlled by White. So the Jackrabbits now in business. 3:45 left, they're up by 6, and they've got a possession. Across the timeline, Bauman. Bounce pass to White, knocked away by Kessler, but then recovered by a hustling Jeff Boer. Kessler with a near steal, but he, for an instant, lost his balance, couldn't get to the ball, and Boer was there to pounce on it. That's the kind of player Jeff Boer is. A lot of non-statistical things he gives this team. Right corner pass now with 15 on the shot clock, comes to Leiferman, clears it back out to Bauman. He's near the timeline with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Leiferman, high post, gets it off for White, down the lane, triple team, still dishes with from about 8, no good. Rebound comes to South Dakota State. So they get a recycled shot clock and 3 minutes now left in regulation. Out near the timeline, Bauman works by his man, Ward, nobody there, so he kicks it back out to White, and the Jackrabbits plenty patient now on the offensive end. Working both clocks, 25 on the shot clock, 2:45 on the big clock. White on the right wing, spins back to his right, running 12-footer, crawls out, no good, but tapped up and in by Bauman. Oh, a big putback by Bauman to make it an 8-point lead for South Dakota State, 75-67. 2.5 minutes left as Ward tries to go down the lane. Under pressure, Ward dishes out of bounds off the Jackrabbits. As Ward trying to create, had that one go off an opposing player. Pass into the front court now. To the baseline, McDonald, double team. Clears it out, Kesty. Out of Ward on the right wing. He penetrates past over his shoulder right into the hands of White, who now starts a 2-on-2 break. White down the middle, lays it up and in. Slid between two Huskies and banked it in. 26 for White. South Dakota State's biggest lead of the night, 77-67 with 2 minutes left. McDonald on the left wing for the Huskies. Cross-court pass comes to Kessler on the right side perimeter. Kessler down the lane. The running 8-footer is an air ball, but the rebound tapped out nicely. Springer to Ward on the right wing. Ward gives it up for Kesty. His 15-footer off the back iron. Rebound Boer. Outlet comes to White. It's another 2-on-2 break. White pulls up. Three-pointer counted. South Dakota State has taken control of this ball game. Chris White and company lead it by 13 with a minute and a half left. Listen to the South Dakota State fans. McDonald, free throw line, fakes the jumper, now shoots from 15, switch. And a timeout quickly called by the Huskies, but it's probably going to be way too little too late. Folks, this game was tied at 62 not all that long ago. 77-70 as again White scored 21 to offset a 22-point night by Scott Springer. Now the Jackrabbits off the Husky timeout into the front court. Full court defense. DeVita, who's in the ball game, nearly came up with a steal but lost it. Jackrabbits get it back. Minute 10 left. White double teamed and fouled, with the exception of Kesty. That last foul was on Kramer, his third. At the line is White, free throw good. One more coming for Chris White, who's showing everybody why he is maybe the best player in the NCC this year. For his performance tonight. That was point number 30 for Chris White, making it an 81-69 ball game. Springer is out now. LaTroy Spann checks in. Second foul shot by White is off and no good. Off the front rim. Rebound, though, is taken by South Dakota State. As Leiferman out-wrestled Kesty, then they rule held ball, and it goes to the Huskies on the alternate possession. 1:07 left. St. Cloud State down by 12. Backcourt pass in comes to DeVita. He comes across the timeline. Setting his offense. DeVita now. Huskies must hurry. Kramer has it left wing, under a minute left. Kramer will shoot from 17. That's off the iron, no good. Whistle and a foul. Loose ball underneath on the Huskies. As Kesty bored his way through Counts and knocked Chris Counts to the floor. Not Kesty, rather, but Spann on the foul. So back to the other end now, and Chris Counts will go to the foul line. The Jackrabbits with a burst there late in the second half. Final 4 minutes of this ball game as they have taken control of this game, and now Chris White will leave. And listen to the hand as White leaves in favor of Roger Campbell, a backup guard, with 53 seconds left. Counts free throw is good. All 5 of Chris's points have come from the line tonight, 82-69. Second foul shot also good, 83-69. This 14-point lead, the biggest of the night for the Jackrabbits. Here's DeVita in the front court. On his dribble, 45 seconds left. Bounce pass to Gurman. He's open for the three. Top of the circle, way off the mark. Rebound is taken by Campbell. Campbell, though, throws it away right into the hands of Kramer, who lays it in. And then a timeout called by the Huskies. Inexperienced play there by Roger Campbell, who had just come in off the bench and threw it away right into the hands of Kramer, who scores. Huskies call the timeout, but we'll stay right with the play. Is nothing to talk about. Just, I guess, pray for a miracle and hustle like crazy on the defensive end. The St. Cloud State is down by 12 with 35 seconds left. Now as an insurance move, Jim Thorson will send in Ryan Notches and Mitch Lane, bringing out Boer and Bauman. Actually, he's bringing out 2 starters for a pair of reserves, but I think he wants fresh legs in here. Pass comes into Campbell, and he is fouled with 33 seconds left by DeVita. So Roger Campbell, who had just checked in for White, will come back to the other end and shoot 2. 2 years ago, South Dakota State went 3-15 in the NCC, 8-19 overall. That 3-15 mark left them dead last in the North Central Conference as Campbell's first free throw off the back rim, no good. They were last 2 years ago, went from last to second in the conference last year, 24 wins overall, and they are a definite contender this year. It shows you how fast you can go from worst to nearly first. Second free throw, also no good by Campbell. DeVita goes all the way into the basket, no good. And we get basket interference called, goaltending against South Dakota State. They'll give DeVita the basket. First basket by DeVita. It's a 10-point lead now. 20 seconds left. Jackrabbits have it backcourt. Leiferman rifles it in the front court. Bounce pass cross court. Lane goes to the basket and scores. First two for Mitch Lane. 85-73. 10 seconds left. DeVita's in the front court. Bounce pass for Spann. Fadeaway jumper is good from the lane. LaTroy Spann, and that should do it. Just 1 second left. South Dakota State will just let the time run out, and the Jackrabbits savor a hard-earned victory. What an effort by South Dakota State tonight as the Jackrabbits on the enemy court, down by as many as 5 points early in this ball game, played it tough. Averaging about 25 in conference play coming into this game, tacked on 5 to that average. And again, he ends with 30 points to lead the way for South Dakota State. This game was tied 10 different times, 5 in each half. The final tie was at 62 all. And from that point out, the remainder of the ball game, South Dakota State outscored the Huskies 23-13 and won it going away. And there was one stretch there where, if memory serves, it was about a 17-8 run that was really at the crucial minutes of this game with 3, 4, 5 minutes left when South Dakota State went on that run and really caught the Huskies on their heels. And I'm not so sure that it was everything St. Cloud State was doing wrong as it was just South Dakota State turning on the Jets, being the good team that they are. You have a little something extra maybe in reserve, a little bit like you see it sometimes in the NBA, where not that players are going through the motions, but that they even dig down a bit deeper during crunch time. And people like a Chris White are able to come through and come up with the big plays when it's really needed, and that's exactly what the Jackrabbits did tonight. The victory for South Dakota State makes them 5-2 in the North Central Conference. They are now 14-2 overall. The Huskies, meanwhile, drop under the 500 mark, 3-4 in league play, 9-7 overall. Checking the final scoring totals, Chris White again, the all-conference guard, finishing with 30 points on the night. 21 of those came in the second half, and all sorts of big baskets down the stretch. White finished with 4 3-pointers. He also on the night had 6 free throws in 8 attempts. 30 points for White. If you're wondering, that's his second highest scoring effort this year. He had 36 in a victory over Black Hills State during the Jackrabbits non-conference campaign. 13 points for starting center Pete Leiferman. Leiferman getting 2 early field goals, and then all the rest of his production came from the foul line as he hit 9 of 10 free throws. Those were the 2 Jackrabbit players in double figures. 9 points each for point guard Troy Bauman and backup forward Corey Vandewettering. Both played very well tonight for Jim Thorson. Vandewettering with a lot of free throws. He ended up with 5 in 8 attempts from the line. And Bauman had several big plays for South Dakota State. Again, 9 points, not an overwhelming amount, and he is not the kind of guy who gets a lot of assists, even though he is a point guard, because that's not been his natural position in the past. But Bauman made some big plays, big baskets. I remember one putback with 2:35 left that gave the Jacks a 75-67 lead. That was part of that big late run. And a very key play by the 6'1 guard. He finishes with 9. 6 points apiece for Jeff Boer, Chris Counts, and Ryan Notches. 4 points tonight for Brad Timmerman. And then 2 points off the bench for Mitch Lane. Shannon Dana and Roger Campbell were the 2 South Dakota State players who got into the game but did not score. St. Cloud State's leading scorer, Dean Kessler, the Huskies' senior off guard, who's averaged almost 21 points per game. Kessler tonight finished with 19. Big first half for Dean. He had 13, but could manage just 3 baskets in the second half. So again, he finishes with 19. Second leading scorer for the Huskies was Chris Bodette, the 6'9 junior center who had a season-high 16. But Bodette and fellow post Hug Chernowski both fouled out of this game, and both with considerable time left on the clock, and that was part of the reason for South Dakota State's run. When Bodette and Chernowski left the game, the Huskies seemed to lose a bit of direction, and the Jackrabbits pounced and took advantage of the situation. Chernowski fouled out, that is, with 4:44 left. Haug left the ball game with 5 points all in the second half. And then Beaudet departed with 4:10 left in regulation. And again, he had 16. He was a definite scoring force for the Huskies down low tonight. And for that matter on the perimeter, Beaudet with an awful lot of 15, 18-foot jump shots. He played a strong game for the Huskies. The only other St. Cloud State player in double figures, forward Scott Springer. He had 13 on the night. Elsewhere on the score sheet for St. Cloud State, 6 points apiece for Greg Kesty and LaTroy Spann. The Huskies, as we mentioned, got 5 from Charnowski before he had to leave. 4 points for Joel McDonald and 2 each for Dan Ward, Dino DeVita, and Stuart Kramer. Chad Gurman was in the game but did not score in this ball game tonight. Huskies drop it by 10. South Dakota State 85, St. Cloud State 75. We'll continue with our post-game program from Hallenbeck after this. South Dakota State was the 30th all-time meeting between the Jackrabbits and the Huskies, and a kind of a symmetrical all-time series now between these two. South Dakota State with 20 victories, St. Cloud State with 10, as again the Jackrabbits win it tonight by a score of 85-75 over St. Cloud State. Well, let's check the NCC scoreboard now. First off in women's play, earlier tonight, St. Cloud State with a superlative effort. The Huskies showing a great deal of improvement, at least for one night, as they beat South Dakota State 72-69 here at Hallenbeck Hall. That was an excellent women's game, tied at 34 at half, and the Huskies end up winning by 3 on the night. Kathy Blair, St. Cloud State's leading scorer this year, had a great night. She finished with 29 points, 13 of 19 from the field. Missy Swanson added 18 for the Huskies. Dawn Shattuck, as she has all year, led the way in rebounding with 11. South Dakota State was led by Rachel Holsrud. She had 22. Little Falls native and South Dakota State point guard Holly Saldine had 4.7 assists on the night for the Jackrabbits, as again they lose to the Huskies by 3, 72-69. Now in men's NCC play, we've got 2 finals. In overtime, Augustana beat Mankato State 97-86 at the Auto Arena. A big win for the Vikings, who have played pretty good basketball this year despite being only 2-5 now in the conference campaign. They'll be here at Hallenbeck Hall tomorrow night. South Dakota on its home floor beat Northern Colorado tonight 82-73. And entering the second overtime at Sioux City, Iowa, Morningside and Nebraska Omaha are tied up at 72 all. Again, that game is now in a second overtime at the Alley Gymnasium. In college hockey tonight, with 1:30 remaining in the third period, St. Cloud State trailing the University of North Dakota 6-4 at the Ralph Ingolstadt Arena in Grand Forks. Last score in on the Gopher Colorado College game had the Gophers leading 3-1 in the third. Boys high school basketball tonight, Sauk Rapids beat Foley 63-39. And some scores in from the NBA. The Timberwolves lose their 8th straight. The Wolves beaten at Philadelphia 1.